Hello, honorable members of the clan. So welcome to my channel in this South Africa that is burning, and we are trying to put out the fires because this is the only home that we have called South Africa. And if we are not going to be the ones that take the responsibility to fixing our country, then what's the point of being a South African to begin with, right? We might as well do like how they do it in other countries. They pack up their bags and run away. And that is not in our nature. We are not runaway people. We are people that takes the bull by the horn and wrestle it like we are doing, and we will expose what needs to be exposed, and we are also going to discuss what needs to be discussed out of exposés so that the people that are perpetuating crimes against us, and they are supposed to be doing what? Supposed to be protecting us from crime, we are going to hold them accountable. Whether that is the president himself or some person in our community, that is our responsibility to call the popo. But the popo are criminals too, it would seem. Not all of them, of course. Not all of them. Is very important to understand that. And we are now beginning to see the good police officers coming through. And I apologize, guys, if you are hearing some hoovering in the background. That is the janitor doing his janitorial stuff this time of the day. And that, guys, I want to make a disclaimer. The first disclaimer is that I warned you about Jiggers, and why now you're like, Francis, what did you make me watch? Jiggers. I know. I didn't even know such a thing existed myself. I mean, I used to see people at like African, from our fellow Africans coming from the like all the way from, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. They would wear socks at the beachfront in Durban, and I would look at them like, why are you wearing socks on the beach sand? I thought maybe their soles were a little bit sensitive to the sea sand. No, they were protecting themselves from jiggers. They thought we have jiggers on our beach sands. Like, really? Anyways, yeah, I told you don't eat. I told you don't drink anything when you're watching it. I mean, the other one as well that is going to discuss is botflies on dogs. Yeah. Have you seen those videos, botflies on dogs? Yeah, anyways, let's talk about the second disclaimer. What I'm going to say in this video, dear guys, is that there's an audio that is doing the rounds, and I am not sure the authenticity of this audio, but it's compelling nonetheless. It's very compelling. It's about Brian Makozi basically breaking his silence at a radio station or something like that. But of course, we don't get to see him. We only hear his alleged voice in the audio. And he's basically trying to straighten the record, but he is so evasive to a point where I'm asking myself that what was the point of you doing this interview if you are not going to give us the entire gist of the matter? Okay, I also understand that the radio DJ or presenter was not pushing harder. But anyways, I'm going to make you listen, and then I will break in, and then I'll come in with a commentary. As you guys already know, that this audio is repetitive content on YouTube because many YouTubers are going to be playing it on their platforms, and I don't want to be part of the repetitive content crew. I will do the way I'm going to do it in order to make sure that it does not violate the new rules of YouTube that are kicking in on the 15th of July. All right, I don't know when this guy gonna finish. Okay, so I had to stop for a whole hour, guys, so that this guy can finish doing his hovering. I don't know, he's got this blow machine and he's sweeping with it, and it's making a lot of noise. Anyways, guys, as I said, that the disclaimer here is that the audio, I'm not sure how authentic it is. Take it with a pinch of salt. But if it is authentic, and let's assume it is authentic, there are some things that are said here that are quite concerning, and we need to discuss that. Because let's make sense of it. You know, us and our two IQs, I have the audio right here. I'm going to put it against the mic, and then I'll stop it, and then we'll have a discussion, a commentary on what I think about it. All right, let's start.
Mr. Makozi, are you a police officer?
No, I'm not a police officer. I've been around, my sister, and I believe at the right time with the proper platform, I'll be able to expound to the latter as to who's Brian Makozi with my underground experience or underground operations, of course. I'll be able.
Okay, now the operative word that I heard here is that he is part of an underground, and what is his involvement in the underground. And he says that he is going to divulge all the information or details about who Brian Makozi is. So according to this audio, for all we know, he is not even Brian Makozi. Because if you come from the underground world, why would you be using your real name? Now, what underground are we talking about? Deep state, deep establishment, and is he an informant, a spook? What exactly is he saying? And he says he's not a police officer. So that means he's a civilian. But let's hear more.
To share when asked as to where do I fall in this environment.
Now, you are not in a position to explain to us how you find yourself in this police environment, but you were the center stage of Lieutenant General MKHWANAZI's press conference on Sunday. What do you make of these allegations that is leveled against you, the undue and misproper relationship that you have between Minister Senzo Mchunu as well as Vusmusi Matlala? Those allegations.
Yeah, first.
I want you to listen to him attentively here, because there are some telltale signs here that we need to interrogate.
First of all, I need to even show the viewers at home and South Africans that General MKHWANAZI's press conference happened at the very wrong time. The timing is very inappropriate because now, like he alluded during his press conference, I spoke to him, I sent him a message last year, but only after the arrest of the 5 generals and these other brigadiers, he decides now to call a press conference.
Okay, what did we just hear? So the first thing he says that General MKHWANAZI was incorrect to have called that press conference because it was the wrong time. Now, I don't know what is the right time to report to South Africans who on a daily basis are getting slaughtered. I don't know what's the right time to report that and sound the alarm. So let's wait a little bit longer so that the entire country is wiped out, and then we call a press conference and let them know that why you are all in graves.
In addition, you'll be surprised that I think on Thursday last week, just before his press conference, he did talk to me, and from him calling me, there are possibilities that I was checking on him, but he called me, and we also spoke about the need to save the country and the fear that every policeman can now obtain a J50 to arrest another policeman. The J50 is a warrant of arrest.
The first time I learned about a J50, it was in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, that it's a warrant of arrest, apparently. Now, he is saying that MKHWANAZI calls him, and they have a conversation about how to save the country. You are underworld. How are you going to save the country as an underworld? And how are you involved in the crimes underworld that are terrorizing the people of South Africa? And are you saying that you were willing to confess? You are the one who were going to sit next to MKHWANAZI when the time was right to divulge all the underground workings that are terrorizing the people of South Africa, especially the South African Police Service. Is that what he's saying that he was going to do?
So I was very surprised on Sunday to hear him now bringing this thing again.
Believe the sentiment he...
So he was surprised that you stole my spotlight. I was the one who was supposed to address the nation, and the nation get to know me as the hero. How are we going? No, sir. There's just too much. Too much. I don't think if Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi did not do what he did, and then we had this Brian Makozi in front of us telling us all the stuff that we know now, I still would have looked at this Brian Makozi squinting my eyes like, who are you? Let's start there. And secondly, you say you're not a police officer and you know all these things about police officing, but you're not telling us exactly who you are. Are you a spook, meaning intelligence? Or are you just trying to save your neck? Nah. This does not sound well to me. It doesn't sound like it's legit coming from this Brian Makozi person, if this is indeed him. And secondly, he's reminding me of, I used to be a naughty kid, right? But most of my naughtiness was curiosity. And whenever we get caught, I was that kid that ran first to Yoba Paisa. Like, hey, they are doing 1, 2, 3, and yet I was the one who was leading that entire naughty camp. Yeah, this is what he's reminding me of.
That South African Police Service has been captured for individual and political interest, because he was also in contact with you.
Yeah, no, not necessarily that. When I speak about the timing, amongst those 5 generals, there is one major general by the name of General Lushaba. He was born 1993, but he's a major general. He's above a brigadier.
Okay, I'm not sure how relevant that is, but that's a point, though. How are you born in 1993 and you're a major general? Because I always assume major generals for that matter, you would be a little bit older, experienced, and a no-nonsense type of person. And 1993, I'm older than you. Which goes back to the employment equity of the subs. Now we have to question this about most of the police officers. How qualified are you? This is a point, but it's irrelevant in this.
I'm not questioning his age being attached to the position, but given that there are so many people who have served with similar qualification that he has, being warrant officers or captain for more than 30 years. But it's not my place to talk about. This same.
He's actually exposing how corrupt actually the South African police service employment. Like there are those that are just going to be forgotten about. There'll be constables for 30 years, while some people come from behind and then just with ease they get promoted to positions. Now one begins to understand, those of us that are following the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, while we had a witness who started this whole entire thing, or it's on the person, that this person's shoulder, this matter, how he was so desperate to be promoted, so much so that he will sell his own father because of things like this in the South African police service. Now one has to wonder, other police officers that actually did get promoted, on what grounds did they do it? And who did they have to sell in order for them to get the positions? Their own family members? South African police.
General Lushaba. He happened to go to Pretoria in one of the nightclubs and met one girl whom he took to his house. He took the girl to his house. I don't know what happened at night, but in the morning, the girl was nowhere to be found with a state cell phone and a state laptop.
Now, let's talk about this one, because it concerns me a lot. Maybe I watch too much intelligence movies, but I always thought that state resources had some kind of a device in case they get stolen. If they are stolen, there's maybe like a self-destruction button as well, so that you protect the secrets of the state. But this one, it's coming from a major general. Don't forget that. And you would think there will be all sorts of intelligence on those devices. And then secondly, there's no tracking device, at least. Where is this girl? She couldn't have disappeared into thin air. Where is she? Which to me, it says that never took place. That never took place. There are the very, very, very sensitive information about corruption in that laptop. Maybe it's dockets. They digitalized them and threw away the handwritten dockets. And when ish was hitting the fans, because MKHWANAZI was collecting evidence, he was confiscating cell phones. So, of course, if you got those dockets of the political unaliving of politicians and royal members, then, of course, a girl of the night would have stolen the state devices. And I have to ask again, don't they have some kind of a feature where they can actually trace these things? Because they are carrying very, very sensitive information, South African secrets. But, well, in this case, you can only wonder why that laptop and cell phone needed to go. It's like, why did Parliament have to burn? And why at that time Parliament had to burn?
Instead of him approaching the authorities to say, perhaps I had a visit at home or something, he decided to open a case of housebreaking. And guess what? The housebreaking case was opened. It was called Docket 38.
How did he know all these things? He's not a police officer. Guys, we must remember this is a man who is a civilian just like us. But he even knows the docket name. How? Of this General Lushaba, whom I think he is arrested for corruption, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, I withdraw that. But I think he is one of the 5 generals that are arrested.
My sister, don't be surprised when I said I'm being around. The information that I'm giving you, I say, if I'm questioned at the right platform, I'll be able to allude this to. How do I end up having this information? And it does not come from Minister Senzo Mchunu.
Okay, wait. What platform is this that he's talking about? A court of law? Is he planning to become a state witness against those that are targeted? Because now to me, it's beginning to sound like a political ploy, because in this last segment, he now comes in to defend Senzo Mchunu, the Minister of Police. And clearly, there is going to be campaigns like this one where the name of Senzo Mchunu is going to be defended. So much so that we are going to hear old political terminologies like this is a political conspiracy against me. Because we have to understand as well, fellow South Africans, that the ANC is going to its conference in 2027. And this is the time where they are beginning to campaign for these positions. And from what I understand, Senzo Mchunu is eyed for the presidency of the ANC. And you know, when the person that wins the ANC elections, I'm talking about the president of the ANC, subsequently becomes the president of the country. So now imagine in 2029, when the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, is the president of the Republic of South Africa, and with all this knowledge that we have now, so now he's not going to be defending the name of Senzo Mchunu.
General Sibiya or General Khan or anyone of those General Mkonazi has mentioned.
So now it's not just Mchunu, but Sibiya, as well as, I don't know which other one he mentioned. They are innocent in all of this that General MKHWANAZI had alluded to on Sunday.
You confirm that you have access to privileged policing information?
No, it's not that I have access. This environment information comes to you.
No. How does information come to you, especially sensitive state information about crimes that are committed by, let's say, the deep state members? How did this information just comes to you? And secondly, now that the information comes to you, what do you do about it? Because there is a law in our country that prohibits you and me and anybody in this country to withhold criminal information. I think it's something about corruption, combat of corruption, and I will check it and I'll put it in the screen when I edit this video. All of us are subject to that law. All of us. The moment something comes to you that sounds like this could destroy my country, especially the future of my children, you go and you report it. But he keeps quiet about these things. So they come to him and he keeps quiet about them. Is he using these things as a leverage for him to get business, to get tenders? These are the questions now are arising in my head.
The proper platform will give me an opportunity, if asked, to say, where does this and this come from and how do you handle that?
Now, if MKHWANAZI did not blow the whistle, would you have done that is the question again. Or you still would have kept quiet with this information and keep making money out of this information because you have something over or on the Minister of Police, the whoever that has the power and the access of state funds for you to make yourself rich. And now suddenly there's going to be a proper platform where he is going to divulge all of this. Why don't you call a press conference? Your name is all over the country. Now we know that there's a Brian Makozi. Call a press conference and then divulge exactly like how MKHWANAZI did. Who knows? Maybe the people of South Africa will rally around you too and say, protect Brian Makozi. But no, you are waiting for an opportune time. What is that time? What are you discussing behind closed doors? You know, because the president is addressing the nation tomorrow. Have you seen the president? Have you met the president? Have you divulged this information to the president? What does the president know before you divulge all this information? Let's not be made fools here.
Saying through your relationship with Minister Mkunu, you do not have access to such privileged information.
Never shares police information.
Then where do you get this information, which is privileged and sensitive?
Like I said, only the proper platform can allow me to divulge as to where does the kind of information come from.
Okay, that's the end of the audio. He says, never once Senzo Mkunu ever divulged any information to me. And from what we understand from MKHWANAZI's expose is that he seems to be where the minister is. There's no way that they're not talking as comrades. Hey, this, that, all this privileged information that he's not supposed to know about it. I don't believe this. I don't believe this guy. There's no proper platform. If you want a proper platform, call a press conference. Tell the people of South Africa what you know. And that's the proper platform. And then with that information, let's talk about courts and you being protected by the taxpayers and all of that stuff. Right now, you are fluffing. And this is an attempt to protect the Minister of Police as well as all the other guys that were mentioned by General MKHWANAZI. Yep. Anyways, guys, this audio was sent to me from a YouTube channel. I forgot what the name of the channel is. Let me see again, because it was sent on my Instagram. Podcasted updates. That's where the audio comes from. Podcasted updates. Yeah. Thank you. You know who you are who sent me this audio. I appreciate it. But again, we still have to question the authenticity of it. But it sounds legit to me. It sounds pretty legit to me. But let's hear more if how it unravels. But we need to ask critical questions here. Critical questions have to be asked. What is his link to everybody, all the way to the President of the Republic of South Africa? And why were you withholding this information? What were you doing with this information? You know, what exactly were you doing with this information? Because it sounds like you were using the information against the people for your benefit. You calling or sending MKHWANAZI what is it, WhatsApp messages like, oh, a case of defeating the ends of, or defeating whatever it was that he was trying to say. What did you want MKHWANAZI to feel? What, guilty? So that you can now worm your way and say, listen, so that this doesn't happen to you. 1, 2, 3, I want from you. I don't know. Because he says he comes from the underworld. What underworld are we talking about? Because I don't even think the intelligence is going to be referred to as an underworld. They are called spooks, ghosts. They are called intelligence, not underworld, sir. And he says he's been involved in the underworld. So that means you were never going to divulge anything, ever. You are now only wanting to talk because your name was mentioned a lot in the expose last Sunday. No, we must not allow ourselves to be conditioned by this audio. And even if he does open his mouth, we must listen with criticism and ask critical questions and then make an informed decision about whether he's telling the truth or not. But I bet he's going to be misleading us. He's from the ANC after all. Let's not forget that. Anyways, guys, I thought let me come and let you know that this is what was sent through. And I listened and I'm like, it's not surprising though. Maybe you're not surprised either. And that, guys, please enjoy your Saturday. Be safe out there. The country is on its own. The police, unfortunately, we don't have them. They are captured from what we are witnessing. And I do see they're suddenly working. This is to distract us. Where have you been all this time? Please don't leave the video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.